Custer's Sitting Bull and the Black Hills War, 1874. Custer's personal life was a tangle of contradictions, a war hero haunted by demons of vice, a devoted husband shadowed by infidelity rumors, and a self-proclaimed moralist who courted chaos. His scandals weren't whispers. They roared through army camps and drawing rooms alike. Custer's obsession with risk bordered on self-destruction. During the 1867 Hancock expedition, he reportedly lost $3,000, nearly $70,000 today, in a single poker game, a staggering sum for a lieutenant colonel's salary. A junior officer wrote that General bet his horse, his saber, even his wedding ring. When he lost, he laughed and said, "Luck's a fickle mistress, boys." His father Emmanuel raged in a letter, "You shame us with this devil's pastime, repent." Custer's gambling mirrored his battlefield tactics, bold, reckless, and often disastrous. In 1868, after the Washita Massacre, Custer took a Cheyenne woman named Manasetta as a captive. Army records list her as an interpreter, but rumors swirled. A cavalryman's diary entry noted, "The general keeps her tent close. The men joke he's studying indigenous customs. If you catch my drift." Libby, hundreds of miles away, received anonymous letters accusing Custer of fathering a child with Manasetta. Though unproven, the gossip poisoned their marriage. "Must I hear these vile tales from strangers?" Libby wrote bitterly. Custer's reply, "Malicious lies, my rose. Trust only me." Custer's most infamous lapse occurred in 1867. Without leave, he deserted his post in Kansas to visit Libby. In New York, a 15-mile journey by horseback and train. Charged with dereliction, he faced a court-martial. At the trial, Major Alfred Gibbs testified. He left his command to rot in the snow while he played Romeo. Custer, unrepentant, declared a man's heart is not bound by military code. Suspended for a year, he spent it writing florid love letters and badgering Congress for reinstatement. Even allies acknowledged Custer's wandering eye. After the 1873 Yellowstone expedition, journalist William E. Curtis reported, "The general's tent was a revolving door of actresses and miners' wives. His charm was a weapon, and he wielded it ruthlessly." Libby burned most incriminating letters, but one survived. "Your friendship with Mrs. X wounds me deeply," she wrote in 1870, for Custer scribbled in the margin, "Gossip, nothing more." Then tucked the note inside a book on cavalry tactics. Custer's father, a fire and brimstone preacher, bombarded him with letters demanding piety. "Flee temptation, George. The wages of sin are death." Yet Custer mocked religion in private. At a Fort Lincoln dinner, he toasted to Darwin and destiny. "May the best man win," a shocked chaplain recounted. He called the Bible a fine storybook and collected pagan artifacts. The man was a walking contradiction. Despite public devotion, Libby's memoirs hint at simmering resentment. After his death, she destroyed his personal papers, but kept a single scorching letter from 1876. "You speak of honor, yet your deeds reek of deceit." What am I to believe? Custer's response, if any, is lost. A fitting metaphor for a man who hid secrets as skillfully as he chased glory. By 1873, the Dakota Territory had become a grotesque theater of America's manifest destiny. A land where progress marched on bones. At Fort Abraham Lincoln, George Armstrong Custer, now a lieutenant colonel, received orders that distilled the era's brutality into a single phrase: "Kill every buffalo you see." General Sherman's directive was not mere hyperbole, but ecological warfare. Between 1872 and 1874, commercial hunters slaughtered 3,150, 8,730 buffalo on the southern plains, their carcasses stripped of hides and left to rot. The stench of death hung for miles, wrote photographer William Ellingworth, who accompanied Custer. You could walk 100 paces on skeletons without touching grass. This carnage was meticulously calculated. Exterminate the buffalo, starve the plains tribes into submission. Custer's new assignment: protecting Jay Cooke's Northern Pacific Railway. Surveyors exposed the naked greed fueling expansion. Cooke, the financier who bankrolled the Union during the Civil War, envisioned a transcontinental railroad slicing through Lakota territory. "The iron horse will civilize this wilderness," he declared, while privately admitting to investors, "every mile of track increases land values tenfold." Custer, ever the showman. LED expeditions with Gatling guns and a brass band. But his journals revealed darker motives. The Sioux must learn the railroad is inevitable. He wrote, resistance is suicide. The Lakota saw through the carcade when surveyors neared the Yellowstone River. In August 1873, Sitting Bull staged a defiance that became legend. Unarmed, he sat cross-legged on a bluff, packed his ceremonial pipe with kinnikinnick, and smoked as soldiers fired. Bullets kicked up dirt around him, but none struck. Let them waste lead. He told Crazy Horse, according to Lakota oral histories, their guns cannot kill what the earth protects. The spectacle unnerved Custer's troops. We emptied our Springfields at that damned heathen. A corporal wrote, but he just smiled through the smoke. Custer's survival hinged on scouts like Bloody Knife, a figure as tragic as the land itself. Born to a Hunkpapa Lakota father and Arikara mother, he'd been tortured as a child by Gall, a Lakota war chief who scalped his brothers. I will see every Lakota in hell, he reportedly told Custer. Their bond was transactional. Custer mocked Bloody Knife's broken English, but relied on his instincts. During target practice, the scouts sneered. You shoot like squaw, Custer laughed. But the insult festered. On August 4, 1873. Custer's hubris nearly killed him, lured into a box canyon by decoy riders. His 90-man detachment found itself surrounded by 300 Lakota and Cheyenne warriors. They came at us like a damn hurricane, wrote Sergeant John Ryan. Custer for once showed restraint. Dismount, form square, he barked. Troops lashed horses into a defensive perimeter, their Springfield carbines cracking against warriors armed with Winchester repeaters. Firearms traded by British-Canadian merchants. The Lakota lit prairie fires to smoke out the soldiers. The air turned black, recalled Private Charles Windolph. We choked on ash, but the general just grinned and said, "Stand fast, boys. Sheridan's watching." The battle raged for 6 hours, until reinforcements arrived. But the message was clear. This was no skirmish, it was a declaration of war. Behind the violence lay Sherman's cold logic. To him, the plains were a math problem. Every dead buffalo equals a dead Indian. His letters to General Philip Sheridan dripped with genocidal pragmatism. We must act with vindictive earnestness, till the Indians are obliterated or cower. Yet even Sherman blanched at Custer's theatrics. When newspapers praised the Yellowstone victory, he wrote to Grant, Custer's a loose cannon. His vanity will get us all killed. For the Lakota, the buffalo slaughter was apocalyptic. The Wasatch whites cut the earth's arteries. Warn Crazy Horse, without the buffalo, we become ghost spiritual leaders. Interpreted dreams of stampeding herds as omens. At a council on the Rosebud, Sitting Bull slashed his arms 100 in a Sundance trance, vowing, "We will fight until the stones melt." Custer, meanwhile, collected fossils. He shipped crates of ammonites and dinosaur bones to the Smithsonian, scribbling notes about primitive worlds. In one diary entry he mused, "The Sioux are relics like these stones. Progress cannot be halted." Yet in private he confessed to Libby, "I dream of their arrows, they never miss." The Plains Wars revealed America's schizophrenic soul. Custer embodied this, a man who quoted Darwin, while ignoring the fitness of native resilience, who collected indigenous artifacts while destroying their creators. The railroad, that serpent of steel, did more than bisect territories. It split the nation's conscience. As tracks inched toward the Black Hills, the stage was set for catastrophe. When gold was discovered in 1874, Custer would lead the charge into the sacred Pahasapa, a trespass that would ignite the Great Sioux War. But that summer, as his band played Gary Owen and miners scrambled west, a Cheyenne prophet named Stone Forehead uttered a curse. "The yellow hair will die in a place called Many Horses, and his bones will feed the worms of greed." In July 1874, George Armstrong Custer led 12 men into the Lakota's sacred Pahasapa, the Black Hills, under the guise of a scientific expedition. The columns snaked through the Dakota Badlands like a conquering serpent. Cavalrymen with Springfield carbines, geologists clutching rock hammers, and journalists like William Curtis of the Chicago Inter-Ocean, who marveled at Custer's theatrics. The general wears buckskin fringe and lets his hair flow like a dime novel hero. Curtis wrote he shoots antelope for sport, and quotes Longfellow to geologists, "It's Buffalo Bill meets Julius Caesar." President Grant's 24-year-old son Fred tagged along, treating the mission as a rugged vacation. We dined on bison tongue and champagne, he wrote to his mother. Custer calls it roughing it elegantly. Yet the Lakota saw through the pageantry. From the ridges warriors tracked the column's progress. Their wagons tore up the earth, recalled Hakasapa black elk. Then an 11-year-old Ogala boy, the grass screamed where they passed. On July 30th, prospectors Horatio Nelson and John waded
Ross
into French Creek, pans in hand. Ross's journal captures the moment. The gravel glittered like a night sky. I shouted, "God Almighty, Horatio, it's gold." We danced like fools, splashing in the shallows. The general rode over, snatched my pan, and grinned. "Gentlemen," he said, "we've just won the West." Custer's dispatch to the New York Tribune ignited pandemonium gold. The grassroots sparkle with it. Newspapers ignored geologist Newton Winchell's report, calling the deposits trivial. By spring 1875, 15,000 miners swarmed the hills, dynamiting sacred sites like Bear Butte. "They blasted our Vision Quest grounds," said Iron Hawk, a Miniconjou elder. The spirits fled their noise. As Custer's men desecrated the hills, Sitting Bull fasted atop the Rosebud River. For 3 days he danced under the sun, his flesh pierced by 100 bone skewers. On the 4th morning he collapsed and saw a vision. Wasitchu soldiers tumbled from the sky, their hats spinning like dead crows. A voice thundered, "These are yours to kill." Interpreting this as Wakantanka's promise, he rallied 3,000 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. "The Great Spirit smiles on us," he declared. "Their bullets will not touch us." Crazy Horse, ever pragmatic, prepared for total war. "Dig up your buried rifles," he urged villages, "save every cartridge." When the Wasitchu come, aim for their horses first. In September 1875, U.S. commissioners arrived to buy the Black Hills. Spotted Tail, the Brule leader, faced an impossible choice: starvation or surrender. The U.S. offered $6 million for 7.7
Less
million
than 1
acres. Per acre. Spotted Tail's counter-proposal cut to the heart of the issue. "You ask for the womb of our people. For this we demand $60 million. $1 for every blade of grass your wagons crush." The talks collapsed when young warriors stormed the council. "You lie," with smiles shouted Crazy Horse's envoy, Little Big Man, hurling dirt at the commissioners. "This land is not for sale." On November 3, 1875, President Grant gathered generals in the White House's plush Blue Room. Sheridan, architect of the Shenandoah Valley burnings, argued for starvation. "Cut their rations. When their children cry for food, they'll crawl to reservations." Crook, fresh from slaughtering Apache women at Camp Grant, warned, "The Lakota aren't broken like the Apache. They'll fight like cornered wolves." Grant, facing re-election and pressure from railroad barons, chose war on January 31, 1876. He issued an ultimatum: all Dakota not on reservations by January 31st. Our hostiles, fewer than 10%, complied. By May 1876, Sitting Bull's coalition swelled to 7,000, the largest native army ever assembled. At a Sundance near the Little Bighorn, warriors vowed no retreat, no prisoners, victory or death. Custer, meanwhile, drilled his 7th Cavalry at Fort Lincoln. A reporter noted his eerie calm. "He polishes his ivory-handled Colts and hums Garyowen. It's as if he wants a glorious death." On June 22, as Custer rode out, a Cheyenne prophet named Box Elder warned, "Do not take the yellow hare's scalp. His spirit is cursed, it will haunt us." No one listened. The collision at Little Bighorn would become America's most infamous last stand, a battle where Custer's ambition shattered against Sitting Bull's resolve. But as the 7th Cavalry's band played its final notes and Lakota war cries drowned out gunfire, the true cost of manifest destiny became clear. A nation built on stolen land, paid for in blood and broken promises. What happened when Custer's ambition met Sitting Bull's resolve? Witness the collision of empires in our next episode of Native Legends and History Stories. Subscribe now to explore the Battle of the Little Bighorn, a day of triumph, tragedy, and enduring myths. Don't forget to like, share, and join the conversation.